the boys, Danny Stewart here for BassDirect.com. How are you doing today? So I've got this wonderful signature model from our domestic bass player Phenom, our cross-dressing, entertaining Mr. Slaptastic HJ Freaks. And this is his mid-market signature model with Bacchus. And in 2020, Bacchus and himself released his first signature model on the higher end range, and that was a headless model as pictured right now in the PIP. So you heard him just at the beginning there entertaining us with his pretty clothing and most importantly with his phenomenal bass skills. And you heard this thing direct, of course, in a professional recording setting. So the best it's going to sound, I think, and it sounds fantastic, right? So I'm going to show it to you here in a simple room mic setting through my little PJB Cub amp, and I'm just going to take you through the controls and what I think is are the main strengths of this signature model. So I'm actually very impressed with this in terms of playability. So it's Japan Tune-Up Series, which this one is as well. And what that means is that although these are made in Indonesia, they're assembled here in Japan, and all the fretwork is fine-tuned, all the leveling and polishing and smoothing of the fret edges and everything, rounding of fret edges is done here in Japan. And then of course stringing and setup is done here in Japan, and it's set up absolutely perfectly. I couldn't hope for a better setup, really. It's just so this is it just plays like a breeze. It plays as good as any $3,000 bass that I've laid my hands on. I'm not going to say it sounds quite as good because the pickups are not like the highest grade. These are ceramic pickups, but nonetheless they sound good. A little bit transparent for my liking. I prefer the Alnico's overwound, but they're perfectly adequate for what we need to do. They sound great, and this bass is designed for professional live application. It's got a 3-band EQ, which I love, by the way. This is a great preamp, and it has a kill switch. So when you've got your settings, you've decided on what your settings are for, you know, what you prefer. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to turn the volume down or anything when you want to set your bass down on stage. You just flick the switch, and when you're ready to go live, you flip it on again, and you're all set to go. So that's a great feature, and it can also let you do some interesting effects if you want to do that. Kind of cool. Yeah, man, what a wicked sounding instrument. That was balanced, by the way, active mode, bass boosted, treble boosted, mid at notch, and the master tone all the way up. If you add the mid, if you boost the mid, that's the mid boosted. Let's go with the mid at notch again. You can just hear it gets a little bit rounder. not so scooped, of course. But yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful sounding instrument for slap. But you already heard the master himself at the beginning there doing that. So what I'm going to do is go on the rear pickup now. Let's go into passive mode. Let's have the master tone down and all the way down. Woo! You know what this reminds me of? It really reminds me of the 24, which is one of my favorite models. So they did the 24 in the high-end series, and then they did the 24 in the Craft series, and this reminds me of the Craft series version. It's called the TF Ash. So that's nice. If you want to add a bit more bite, you can bring the tone up. Really nice. Yeah, that's great. Let's check in active mode. Let's just have the mid boosted. We'll cut the treble and we'll cut the bass and we'll cut the master tone for a really nasal sound. Yeah, man, what a sound. And the bass. Yeah. Love it. I love it. And then of course you can add the treble. Yeah, so anyway, you get the idea. And then let's go on the front pickup finally and just test that out. I'll boost the bass in the mid and I'll cut the treble and the master tone, and we'll just let's go with everything dialed up. Let's take it and see how that sounds. Yeah, you get the idea. It's got a lot of tonal scope. Plays great. You know, I think the only weak points on this instrument are really just the tuning pegs. They hold the tuning just fine, but they're just basic. You know, they're like copies of what is it, Music Man tuning pegs, nickel plated. And yeah, maybe the pickups, you know, because they're ceramic, but I mean, they do sound just fine. You know, a little bit transparent, as I say, for my liking personally, but I fucking love the preamp, I've got to say. I'm very impressed with the preamp, and I love the playability of this model. I would, yeah, I would have one of these in my arsenal permanently, for sure. It's just as good, I think, as the TF Ash from the that was from the Craft series, which was made in Japan. It sounds just as good and plays just as well, as far as I'm concerned. Looks wise, maybe it's not quite as good looking. You know, I find the finish on this is a little bit, yeah, it's not the best looking bass in the world color wise, but I mean, you know, it's down to your personal preferences. It's actually quite a pretty color. It's a teal green, so, but yeah, bloody fantastic for the money. Really recommend it. So yep, there you go. We will have these, hopefully we'll have more of these available. I'm probably going to carry more of the tune-up series because yeah, they're very good for the money. And as you can see, there's this one over here in Spalt Maple, which is the jazz bass in the series. That's also linked in the Shopify carousel down below, like this is too. And we have these are available factory direct now in various colors. So do inquire if you're interested. The HJ Freaks model unfortunately only comes in one color, but that's his color choice, you see. And yeah. Yep, I'm gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10. It's great. The only place it loses marks on is really the tuning peg and the pickups. The rest of it I love. I love having this bypass switch as well. It's so useful, so practical. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. Thanks again for watching another Naked Sound review, and I'll see you again for another one soon. Cheers.